Welcome back to Stratadesign, where we take a look at digital strategies, social media trends, and practical tools for content creators.
On today's episode, we're talking about making high-quality content with the equipment you already have.
We'll break down the essentials, share tips from content creators, and prove that you don't need an expensive setup to make great content.
First to our question of the day, which is, what percentage of the world population is on social media consuming media daily?
We'll have the answer to that question of the day later in the episode.
I went around campus and asked students if they posted on social media and how they edited their content for their social media.
Hi everyone, I'm Amelia. I'm here with Stratadesign today, and we are going to go on BYU Idaho campus and ask students how they edit and create their content on social media.
What is your name and do you post on social media?
My name's Tyler, and I don't post on social media that often, but I do somewhat.
Okay, can I get your name and do you post on social media?
I'm Charity, and yes, I do.
Post on social media.
I'm Emma.
I'm Peyton.
I'm Emma.
Oh, two Emmas. Cool. Okay, so do you guys post on social media?
Not a lot. Usually, if I'm like, I don't know, something cool happens in my life, then I will. Usually, just story walk. Kind of mix of both.
What's your name and do you post on social media?
My name is Shane, and I don't really post on social media, like ever.
What is your name and do you post on social media?
My name is McKinley Clark, and I do post on social media, not super often, but.
Do you post on social media? Do you edit anything at all?
No.
Okay, when you post on social media, do you edit any of your content at all?
It depends on the photo, but typically no.
Okay. And when you guys do post on social media, do you what do you use to edit your posts?
I'm pretty basic. I just use whatever is provided on like Instagram. So I just use Instagram too. Instagram or Snapchat.
If you do post on social media, do you edit it?
Last time I posted a video, I just trimmed the size of the video. That's it.
Okay, and then when you do post on social media, how do you edit your posts?
I typically will use CapCut, or if I'm editing photos, stuff like Photoshop. And
that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining the Person on the Street interviews, and we look to see you guys in the next episode.
High quality content doesn't require expensive equipment. Strategic use of what you have can make a significant difference.
To break this down, Megan explored key techniques that can improve video and audio quality with minimal resources.
Hi everyone, I'm Meg. In our last video, we learned about how to make content go viral. And one of the biggest principles that we learned were to make quality content. Now, you might be asking yourself, what if you're a creator who doesn't have the high-end equipment that some people might have? Here's what I've learned from other people in the industry. Creativity is the foundation of what you create. If you have a good cell phone and access to a computer, you are off to a good start. On careervillage.org, I found some answers from some of these people and their thoughts on this subject. They said that your own household objects, like a desk fan, could create nice lighting. They also share that even medium quality cell phones with a camera can give you the start that you need. There are also vast amounts of apps that you could use that are free, and once you get started on creating posts, you will learn as you go and know what piques people's interest. The best way to go is to get started now, and improvements will come as you continue. Aside from they also said not to underestimate the power of your mind. Your ideas of what you create will take you further no matter the equipment that you have. If your ideas are exactly what people need to hear, they will focus on that more than a perfect studio setup. And with the impact of TikTok and other platforms, you might even be better off creating content that makes people feel like you're a real person and that they can relate to you. Your persona is what draws people in, and they want someone that they can trust and listen to in some way that inspires them. Thank you so much for watching. Look forward to more videos coming your way.
Now that we've discussed the key elements of creating high quality content, let's hear from someone who's actively creating content themselves.
I recently spoke with Ethan Lammy, who just started his own podcast called the What If Podcast, to hear his insights on content creation and what it takes to get started with limited equipment.
Hi everyone. So today on Stratazine, our guest is Ethan Lammy. Ethan is a student here at BYU Idaho, and he just started a podcast about a month ago, right?
Exactly.
Okay, and so you talked to guests about a variety of subjects. So thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So, what do you do, and what inspired you to start?
So the podcast that I started, it's called the What If Podcast. It was kind of a joke when I first started it. It was more an idea of promoting people in small businesses. Because I think my idea of starting the podcast was to promote people's dreams and ideas. And so that's kind of what I've started doing the past month, and it's been going pretty well.
That's awesome. So what kind of equipment did you have to start out with?
I use my phone, so I use my computer and I use my phone. There's this platform that I use called Riverside. It's a podcast platform used off of Spotify. So it's like it's connected to, it's called Riverside. It's connected to Spotify Podcasters, which is connected to Spotify.
Okay. So what do you think is the most important tools or meant to have when just starting out?
I'd say obviously a cell phone or some way to record. So a camera, a phone, and obviously a platform that's going to be able to get good audio. Microphones would be very nice because you want to have good quality. And I'd say a tripod, that way you can have either a person record it or something that's stable that can hold the camera still.
How did you decide what format or style you wanted to do your podcast, and how do you hope it will evolve in the future?
I thought I'd have it as a relaxed kind of vibe at first. I do it in my apartment. So we just use my couch, and we have this little cozy chair that I have my interviewee sit in. It's kind of a natural, very relaxed kind of tone of environment to have the podcast in, because I don't want the person to feel stressed at all. And I'd say it's a very relaxed kind of environment at the podcast. I want it to evolve to obviously have a bigger audience. I think right now it's so small. I've only been doing it for a month. I don't really have that many people listening or watching other than my friends and family. And then maybe a couple of random people that just randomly see the reels. But I would say I'd like it to grow on social media first, and then from there it can grow off of Spotify and wherever else.
Do you have any strategies so far in growing your audience?
My marketing strategy could definitely be improved. It's not that good right now. I'm just posting on Instagram, YouTube, and I just started on Spotify last week. So that's one of my marketing ways. I don't really put any money into the podcast right now because I'm a college student, but I'd like to in the future put more money into it in marketing.
Nice.
Yeah.
How do you prepare so that everything goes smoothly, from the lighting to the sounds to the topic?
That's a good question. I'd say about 30 minutes to almost an hour in preparation. I make sure I have all questions out. My interviewee, I don't want to say stalk them, but I do my research on them. I look what they have on their social media, who they are. I like to ask them a little bit of questions in advance to get a feel of who they are and what they're wanting to go into. I make sure all my audio sounds good on my computer and in my phone when it's being recorded. I make sure everything looks nice and kind of pretty for the audience to see. And so I'd say it takes about an hour and 30 minutes in advance to make everything look nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
What were some challenges you faced, and how did you overcome them?
There's a lot of challenges that come with starting a podcast. First of all, it's nerve-wracking. It's scary to get up in front of a camera and try to be yourself and not stutter on your words and just let yourself out. I think over time, my trials of the podcast have gotten a little bit better because I've been able to manage them with doing research on it. And I'd say the challenges are getting viewers and interaction on comments. I don't really have that many people that interact. It's more just, oh, good job. That podcast was cool. That was really interesting, but not many comments. And so I'm trying to work on making it more engaging, interactive, and fun.
All right, that's all the questions I have for today. Thank you so much for joining
Absolutely.
us.
Thanks for having me.
Check out his podcast, the What If Podcast, on Spotify. And yeah, thanks for taking the time to share your thoughts.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bella.
Creating high quality content doesn't require expensive equipment. It's about using what you have effectively.
To break this down, Jared looked at key techniques that can improve video and audio quality with minimal resources.
Today, I will give some tips and tools on how to make high-quality content with limited equipment. Tip number 1, use strong light. Multiple YouTubers have shared that they either use natural light or just the light in their room, but make sure to have strong lighting. Tip number 2, use high resolution for filming. You don't need a fancy camera, you just need to use your phone. I'm going to show you how to do this on my phone. Go into your camera, and the first thing you're going to do is adjust the settings so that it's a 9:16, since that is usually the best for taking great videos. Next, we'll scroll over to the video tab. Let's make sure that the steady hand is on, so that we don't have any shaky videos. Then we'll click on the gear icon in the corner and open your camera settings. Make sure your grid lines are on so you always know where the subject is in the frame of the camera. And finally, make sure your HEVC setting is on. Tip number 3, keep the camera steady. No one likes a shaky phone, so use what you have to prop up your phone so that it doesn't move during filming. It's that simple. You can make high quality content with limited equipment if you remember to use strong lighting, use high resolution for filming, and keep the camera steady. That's it. Thank you, and stay tuned for more tips and tricks in the next episode.
Back to the question of the day. What percentage of the global population uses social media daily?
The answer is 63.9% of the world's population uses social media and consumes the media posted.
That's all on this episode of Stratazine. Coming up on our next episode, the ethics of AI in content creation.
Thanks for joining us today.
Additional resources and links from this episode can be found in the show notes. See you next time.